Right, so my presentation is going to be over the game Wolfenstein: The New Order and the controversy about it. So I'm going to start off with the general summary and the general premise around Wolfenstein: The New Order, basically what it's based on, the concepts, the values. So the main premise is completely based on killing Nazis. The entire game is surrounded by it, that I'm aware of. I don't think you kill anybody that's not a Nazi. There's nobody that betrays you or anything like that. It's just the main concept is that Nazis are bad and you need to kill them all. So the original games were based in the 1940s, post World War II. The newer game, well, specifically Wolfenstein: New Order, is it starts off based in the 1940s, and then you end up in the 1960s. Essentially, what happens is you start fighting on a beach, and then you storm the castle, and you kill all these Nazis, and then an explosion happens. You get like launched out into the ocean, and I think a piece of metal shrapnel hits you in the head, and you go into a coma. Somehow you survive this. You're floating on the ocean for probably like 3 days, and then you're saved. So you go to an asylum, and you're functionally in a coma. You're a vegetable for about 20 years. So start the 1940s, you end up in the 1960s, you come out of the coma, you clear the whole asylum of all these Nazis after they're trying to shut it down and kill more people. So this game specifically was released on or in May of 2014. So the general statistics, Wolfenstein was released on pretty much all the relevant platforms. So PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, Xbox 360, Xbox One, PC. So pretty much everything that's still relevant. Obviously, the older platforms still have fantastic games, but there aren't any new releases for them. So in the year of 2014 that it was released, 215,977 units were sold. So that's not counting the following years after that, which were pretty good sales as well. So the general history of the Wolfenstein franchise, the first one was released in 1981, and it was kind of this massive new idea. Before then, games were kind of more two-dimensional, more jump up and down, run around, platformers, things like Mario and stuff like that. Kind of they tended to be a little bit more lighthearted. There were definitely some where you killed people and ran through the castles and that kind of thing. But basically, Wolfenstein was the first one to be completely 3D, run around, shoot things with guns. Basically, the concept of first-person shooters nowadays, it paved the way for those. So, Call of Duty, Halo, any first-person shooter, which is basically the main relevant game nowadays. So, it was rebooted from the first 1981 game in 2001 and 2009, as well as the most recent game, The New Order, in 2014. So it was rebooted so many times because in 2001 and 2009, people tended to think that it was more of like it was more of a maze game. You'd run around in kind of these bland castles, killing things, but you'd just have to find your way out. So it wasn't as widely loved, I guess, as the new Wolfenstein, the New Order franchise, which is run by Bethesda Software. They're the publishers of it. So like I just said, they publish Wolfenstein: The New Order. They also tend to publish a lot of really similar games, and I'll touch on those real quick. So they've released games like Fallout, Dishonored, Skyrim, Doom, which all have a very similar feel. They're based in completely different worlds, but they still have this core idea of run around, kill people, be better than everyone else. The goal in most of these is to either return to where you were, uh, help your specific sect of people, or just to, like, if you want to, in most of these games, you run around and kill everybody. So, Fallout, for example, the most recent one, Fallout 4, you are put into a vault as a kid, and then I believe you're cryogenically frozen. You wake up, I don't know how many years later, probably like 150 years later or something to that effect. You come out of the vault, and then you're given this massive list of choices whether you want to kill everybody you see or make some friends and then kill more people. Either way, you're going to end up killing a lot of people. So Dishonored, not really a similar concept, but still the same idea. You play this character that ends up getting betrayed by his own people. I think basically his queen is slain, he's the bodyguard of the queen, and then you're framed for it, you get thrown in prison, you break out, and then you end up killing all the people that betrayed you to get back to where you originally were. And then Skyrim, you're also you start the game as a prisoner and you're about to be executed, and then this dragon comes in and saves you. But once you're out in the open world, again you have all these choices. You start off by killing animals and that kind of thing with a sword that you happen to find. And you're also given the choice to pick one side or the other. And depending on which side you pick, you have to kill everybody that you, well, not everybody, but everybody that gets in your way that's on the opposite side. So the whole premise of the game is winning the war for your side, or if you want to, just killing everybody. Doom, kind of similar idea. You end up just basically killing all the enemies. There aren't that many friends in there. It's pretty much just spray and pray, kill everybody you see. So kind of similar concepts to Wolfenstein: The New Order, just extremely violent, tends to be more focused on kind of mind-numbing, just slaughter. And that slaughter and just general violence is going to be present in this clip here in just a second that I'll show you. So the main controversy of Wolfenstein, the controversy that everybody can see, is that you're just killing these hordes of Nazis. With extreme gore, you're given machine guns and flamethrowers and all these different things to just brutally destroy your enemy. And there's a lot of like cutscenes where you stab a guy in the neck, or there's assassinations where you come up behind people and just rip their throat out, pretty much. And that's pretty much the general marketing of it. All the marketing shows extreme violence, all this killing, all this hatred. The main goal, it feels like, is to make you hate the Nazis that you're killing. So you're hating people just to get enjoyment out of it. And like I said, that violence is going to be clear in this clip that I'll show you now.
So much has changed. I've been gone for too long. They beat us to the bone. No one knows how. The world was forced into submission. They took our freedom. Tore down what took centuries to build. They terrorized the world with their power. Enslaved millions. Uprisings. Rebellions. Resistance. Crushed beneath an iron boot. They're stealing our future. Flaunting their might. They think the war is over. But they're dead wrong.
Right, so like I said, this video is geared towards telling a story of the horrible things that Nazis did. And I certainly won't deny that Nazis did horrible things, but the marketing campaign aims to make you excited to kill all the people, basically. So And like I was talking about the extreme violence, shoving necks in people, or shoving knives in people's necks and blood everywhere, and like the crazy Nazis and that kind of thing. So the main concept, the takeaway from this game is your goal is death. Your goal is to wipe out the idea of Nazis, to completely destroy this. So the marketing for me, because I've kind of grown up in this age of first person shooters being the thing. So guts, Google, or guts and gore and violence and blood and just almost anger for whatever the enemy is in your game. It's marketed towards people like me because I've always played games like this, but looking into it, I see that there's kind of a lot happening there, and I feel like we need to look into games like that a lot more and just realize that games do affect us. There's a storyline, there's a plot, there's ideas that are kind of pushed onto us in a way that we don't realize. We just kind of we buy the game, we enjoy the game, we play the game, maybe we play the game a lot, we get really good at the game. But behind all of it, especially in games that have campaign and not just multiplayer, there's this concept of I am better than the other side that I'm just slaughtering. And we just we definitely need to look more into that and realize what we're doing has an effect on us. So that concludes my presentation for the most part. I have my work cited here. And that would be why I find Wolfenstein: The New Order to be controversial. Thank you.